Sonic News! A new show appears! It's super effective! I am SSF. Pull my finger, please. Please? No? Screw you. I was polite. Ah. Live from the magnificent state of Virginia, here's your host, the news dude of Sonic Paradox, Sonic Sega Fan, 1991. Sonic?
One of these days, I will sync that logo up perfectly with the end of the intro. One of these days. But hi. Sound was barely audible. Well, considering that intro has been played I don't know how many times now, it's not like you're missing anything. But, also it's maybe because of the fact that I have this new pair of headphones for speakers, so that may mean, that reconfiguring might be necessary. But hi. Welcome to the Sonic News Show. The very, very first Sonic News Show of December. Yay! Welcome to December, everybody. It's that holiday that has an Easter bunny in it, and you go buy Valentine's and you give it to the Easter bunny so you can get your mother a very nice present for Mother's Day. It totally makes sense, by the way. That really does make sense. But yeah, welcome to December and what may very well be the most stream-packed month of the year, not counting the period of E3. Because the 21st, the 22nd, the 23rd all have stream days. And then I believe the 30th and 31st also have stream days. There's a Mega Man marathon being one of them, a pinball marathon being one of them, there may not actually be one Sonic News in particular. I'm actually going to review more about what's going on, what's going to happen to the Sonic News Show in the next few weeks at the end of the show. But needless to say, there's going to be some interesting stuff to bring up. Because for once, there may be, well, you'll see. But yes, December is among us. 2012's curtain has nearly closed. But alas, with the arrival of December, things have come out. And surprisingly, probably the most surprising thing that has happened within the past few weeks is the announcement that Sonic Fighters HD, Fighting Vipers HD, and Virtua Fighter 2 have all come out in just a span of these few weeks. Something that we didn't think, something that was never predicted. I don't think any of us predicted that Sonic the Fighters HD and Fighting Vipers and Virtua Fighter would all come out so soon. Yes, Sonic the Fighters, Fighting Vipers, and Virtua Fighter 2 all came out. The Sega Model Collection 2 is now out on Xbox Live, PSN, in all regions, I believe. Well, well, actually, no, it's not all regions yet. It will be in a few days, but needless to say, Sonic the Fighters HD, Fighting Vipers, and Virtua Fighter 2 are all now out. The Steam versions haven't really been announced. And typically they do tend to reveal that soon. But one thing I did forget to mention is that since it is December, that means that things are going to be a little bit wintry in the songs I'm playing in the background. you know, songs kind of like this. Admit it. It's very wintry. Kind of like Michael Jackson, actually. Hopefully this isn't going to be that quiet. Who knows? But, yeah. We have that. Do expect other Christmassy and wintry music to be played in the course of this month. Among other things. But later on in the show, I do have my impressions of Sonic the Fighters HD. But we shall see, you know. But you'll like the impressions, I'm sure. It's not going to be really negative. But God, this song's too catchy. I like the Act 2 version more than the Act 1 version. Just specifically because of this main part. I'm gonna have difficulty even talking because I'm just gonna want to listen to this song. I'm well aware of that, Mac. I don't know if I still have it though. I can't even remember what, like, I've pretty much lost track of all the piano tracks you've done that I even have on here. You've done so many, I've lost track. But yeah, Sonic the Fighters HD is pretty, you might want to link me in the Skype chat so that way I can take a look at it later. Because obviously I can't at the moment. But, yeah, Sonic the Fighters HD, Fighting Vipers HD, and Virtual Fighter 2 are now out. The HD ports. But needless to say, there's only gonna be one. Other than that, the Sonic the Fighters HD and the impressions on Sonic the Fighters HD, this whole fucking show is pretty much gonna be ASRT again. I think I'm probably one of the few people that have gone from thinking that Sega really needs that All-Stars Racing Transform news was a necessity to All-Stars Racing Transform news becoming repetitive and tiring, and being, you know, it's like you think that there is just as much All-Stars Racing Transform news. You know, it's just been an onslaught of Transform news for the last 2 months. You know, and for the majority of that, it was alright. You know, but the game is out. We all know, you know, everything about the game by now. And yet we're still getting like a bitch load of news. It's like, it's like, even though the game has long come out on multiple platforms, we're still getting quite a bit of news. I mean, yeah, there are still some platforms that haven't come out yet, that it hasn't come out on yet, but still, I mean, quite a few of us know what this game is going to have, what it's going to be, you know, because it's out now, and yet we're still getting quite a few news stories about it, because it's just this post-game release stuff that's probably going to be, I'd imagine that come January, the news will ease up, but damn, it's just been nothing but All-Stars Racing Transform news, like, for the last 2-3 months. You know, and like I said, 2 of those months were alright. And yes, I did hear about that damn hitch. I just don't bring up anything about her. You know, I have completely shut up any opinions I have on her now. You know, people know by now. They know. And considering it seems like I've been pissing people off because of the constant berating of her, you know, I've pretty much said, you know what, I'm just not going to bring it up anymore. And I haven't. But, you know, if that's to answer any questions, but yeah, I really don't bring up her anymore. So, you know, I just ignore it. But needless to say, yeah, the game is still hard. You know, but I finally did unlock Ages, and once I get back to All-Stars Racing Transformed after this show, you know, I'm going to be able to unlock the Avatar and Eggman as well, and officially unlock every character in the game. So, but anyway, the Wii U version of All-Stars Racing Transformed, yeah, it's pretty glitchy. I'm increasingly seeing glitches in the 360 version too. It's like, this game is just not polished, you know, like other games are. It's just, the game is normally just fine, you know. I mean, it's not that it wasn't ready. I think it was ready. It's just I don't think, you know, I just don't think more effort was put into polishing the game, you know, than they should have. They had worked for the game. Let me clarify, this game was actually 2 years in the making. The thing is, though, Damehead, although that console was just released, it's not the console, it's the game. The Wii U version of All-Stars Racing Transformed is very glitchy. And the 360 version has even been a bit glitchy. It's like, the game is glitchy. Now, it's only glitchy, I think it's glitchy especially online. But single player, it's less evident. Much less evident. But the glitches are there, and there are plenty of them. It's just, a lot of them are kind of ones you have to stumble upon. But the game has been 2 years in the making, which means they've had plenty of time to iron out glitches. And they didn't. You know, and it baffles me. But other than that, you know, it's not really that bad. You know, the difficulty, it's pretty much my main complaint. The game's difficulty is my main complaint. Normally I have no problem with difficulty, but the hardness, there is such a thing as too hard. You know, it's okay if it's hard, but it has to be fair hard. You know, it has to be a fair and square kind of hard. You know, not cheap hard, not lucky hard. You know, stuff like that. But anyway, I've already given my impressions on the game, so. But also the Sonic Generation soundtrack is now on iTunes. Big whoop. I think everyone already has the soundtrack by now, even without our iTunes. But you know. But I have not played Contra 3. Just for the record. But I will say this much. These first sales figures on All-Stars Racing Transformed have come out. In the UK, it reached 27th on the UK sales charts. However, the US, we do have the sales numbers unofficially for the Wii U version, the 360 version, and the PS3 version. The Wii U version of All-Stars Racing Transformed has sold, during Week 1, in the US, 34,825 copies. On the Xbox 360 in Week 1, in the US, All-Stars Racing Transformed scored, on the 360, 9,272 copies. And finally, on the PS3, in Week 1, in the US, the PS3 version, the PlayStation 3 version of All-Stars Racing Transformed, unofficially, like I said, these are unofficial numbers, the PS3 version sold 9,506 copies. The game really didn't sell all that much. considering that Transformed did not sell as much either, this was partly unsurprising, but also partly surprising at the same time. It's both surprising and it's unsurprising, at the same time. But I think the number one thing that is that it's disappointing too, because this is the last thing Sega needed. This is the main game for their year, and to get a low amount of sales on this is just downright god-awful. And what the hell? Why is this popping up now? That almost never pops up during this time of the day. Just All-Stars Racing Transformed. You really think the game would have sold well by now? Considering it's just the promotion has just been god-awful with this game. It's obvious. Sega did hardly anything to promote this game. Sumo was doing it all, and even their promotion wasn't exactly that much. Hell, the TV advertising, they made one commercial for it, maybe two, and they almost never air. I have not seen a single All-Stars Racing Transform commercial. I think I've seen it only once. Only one time. And that was like a week or two ago. This game is just not getting promotion. And that is why it's not selling. You can't sell a game if no one's aware of it. It's just... that was my number one complaint pre-All-Stars Racing Transformed, is that this game was not getting promoted enough. And needless to say, it's just, I will say this much. I agree with what Shadow Remix said. It doesn't matter what my opinion is on Danica Patrick, you can't just sell and promote a game with just her. No matter how much you think of Danica Patrick, no matter how great you think she's in the game, that is not going to be enough to sell the game and get you copies. It's not going to be enough. That solely is not going to be enough. I don't care how well known she is, I don't care nothing about that. She alone is not going to give this game sales. There needs to be more promoting than just her. I just really feel like this game could have gotten better promotion. A lot better promotion. And it's just disappointing how much of a letdown the sales are. So this game could have done so much better. It's a great game if you get past the difficulty, the mind-numbing difficulty. Besides that, this game is fantastic. The glitches are not really a huge problem unless you're really using the Wii U version. Other than that, the game is just fine. It's fantastic. And to see sales like this is just so disappointing. So disappointing. But, maybe the game will pick up in a few weeks, who knows? But seeing week 1 sales at this juncture is just downright disappointing. And I really wonder how many of those sales count. Are those even? None of those sales are, I imagine, are even counting the ones that got leaked from the street date. Those who got the game early may not have even been able to. Their buying of the game may not even count towards those sales. So the leaking of the street dates, I do think have hurt Sega a lot. It means more copies that they could have gotten, aren't there because people got the game before they counted the sales, and, I don't know, but all I know is that this game, from what the first, I should again emphasize the fact that these are unofficial. These aren't final. They're not from an official source or anything. These sale numbers are really not looking good to start with. They're not looking good at all. I mean, look at Sonic Adventure 2. That has been on the charts still for weeks. I mean, it's dropping down in the charts, but it's still in the charts. It's like, it was in the top 20 for a good long while. And although it is now 52 a second, it is still, just the fact that it's still on the charts, you know, almost still in the top 50 that's an achievement right there. Sonic Adventure 2 is getting more sales than All-Stars Racing Transformed is. And All-Stars Racing Transformed is supposed to be Sega's main game this year. For a dinky HD re-release to get more attention than their main game is really telling. It really speaks a lot of volumes. But, needless to say, that's my opinion on the sales. I really do think there's some problems right now with the sales. Hopefully they get better, but we will see. But for now, with Christmas coming up in a few weeks, make sure you do turn on All-Stars Racing Transformed and play a little bit on Christmas Day, because there's another character you'll get on that day. Apparently Alex Kidd is a Christmas unlockable. You will only be able to unlock him on Christmas Day. It really is a character that usually characters in Sega games don't get unlocked that way. In fact, I think this is the first character in a Sega game in a good long while to actually have to be unlocked by a certain time of the year. And as I said, Christmas Day. You have to play, if you play All-Stars Racing Transformed on Christmas Day, you unlock Alex Kidd as a unlockable character. Needless to say, Alex Kidd, you know, being in the game, makes a lot of sense. But, moving on, Sonic the Fighters HD impressions. Now, I'm going to take a break from the wintery music real quick, just for brief while I talk about the impressions, because, well, I do want to kind of play this, just for a rather fitting occasion.
So, we join Sonic the Hedgehog as he beats the living shit out of his friends. Why would he be doing this? Simple.
Yes.
This is Sonic the Fighter.
I really couldn't resist.
There's a gun, bombs, and lots of pain, but I would say it's far from lame. Try it, you know you wanna. You can beat up Miles Prower, and we'll use this fun for hours.
So,
Even punch a girl like Chris Brown and Rihanna. Ain't it funny how not a single one of these guys has a bruise? Not one bruise, not one.
Yeah.
Guys are new. This game is their debut.
This is actually Recorder Dude singing a musical with lyrics of Sonic the Fighters with, I do believe it was the first level theme in Sonic the Fighters. I think is it Mushroom Hill? I can't remember. It's the first level theme in the game, I do believe. In any case, it is indeed time for Sonic the Fighters HD. Yeah, it's South Island. There you go. It's the Sonic the Fighters HD impressions. I have actually managed to play the HD port of Sonic the Fighters. Mysteriously, the theme, this very song, you know, minus the lyrics, of course, showed up quite a bit. But, yeah, Sonic the Fighters HD. What do I think of it? It's actually amazing. It's actually the first HD port that Sega has actually done a good job on. Actually. You know, actually. Sega has really done a good job with this HD port. It is one of the few moments in time where Sega ported a game, and it turned out great, you know. The online mode is fun as hell. It is so fun. Honey the Cat is actually decent. Honey the Cat is not, you know, easy to handle, but they did actually input Honey the Cat in an okay fashion. However, the method to getting Honey the Cat, you have to actually look at the achievements list to see. And I will bring up the achievements in a moment, because, well, I already have them all. The very first game I've gotten all the achievements in. The achievements are really, really easy. But, in any case, yes, Honey the Cat is playable. And you apparently can play as Honey the Cat online as well. By hoping that whoever it is that's hosting that little match actually has Honey the Cat enabled. It's well worth the 400 Microsoft points, or $5. Chris Brown and Rihanna do approve of this game. Needless to say, like I said, Honey the Cat is very much playable. It's definitely something I would recommend getting, trying out at least. You can play as Honey the Cat in offline, of course. Like I said, the method to really getting Honey the Cat is you have to highlight Amy on the character selection screen, then press start, and it'll bring up Honey's picture. However, she doesn't actually get a name change. In fact, Honey is only mentioned in the leaderboards. If you get to the end of the game as Honey and you put in your score, that's the only time you will actually legitimately see her name. When you select her in the character selection screen, her name is still Amy's. She does not get her own label. In the match versus title card, just before a match begins, and you see the characters' pictures and everything in their full form, Honey is actually a series of her name is a series of question marks, and she actually has a white silhouette as her picture. Sega really wants to make Honey a very mysterious character, and like I said, you only know her actual name if you manage to beat the game and you get to the leaderboards where it displays her name, and it's only as Honey, not her full name Honey the Cat either, which is really baffling. I don't get why Sega did that. It just hints laziness. The lack of widescreen is also a disappointment, but not, a huge one. Like I said, the online multiplayer is downright fun. You'll probably be playing on that mostly after you've beaten the game in single player. And needless not to mention, it definitely seems like the CPUs are still just as annoying as they were in the first one. It's a fun port. It's a very, very fun port. I highly suggest you get it. It's well worth the $5 or 400 Microsoft points it takes to get it. And do remember that Fighting Vipers and Virtua Fighter 2 have also come out. So if you think Sonic the Fighters HD is good, then the other two are probably gonna be impressive. But needless to say, I do believe I'm going to let a certain reporter dude let his song finish. But if I were to rate Sonic the Fighters HD, I would probably give it an 8 out of 10. Like I said, the achievements are really, really easy. You can easily get 2/3 of the achievements in just one run, except an achievement or two. That will take an extra turn, but you can probably get that immediately after starting it. The achievements are easy. There's no widescreen, a few other things, but it's pretty insane. But, well, Thomas, to be fair, all of those characters are hacked ones. Those aren't actually, Sega didn't actually put them in there, in terms of, in the character selection screen. You have to hack them into the character selection screen, but, and make them playable. But they did make them all, but yeah, that's what I mean though. They never used them. I'm counting in official terms, you know. That's like saying Sonic 2 is better than Sonic 3 and Knuckles because Sonic 2 has a lot more levels, you know, because there were a lot of levels they didn't use that were considered and stuff. But Honey the Cat was among these that Honey the Cat was among the assets that weren't used in the original, so that alone makes it that does make it a little bit better. Like the official characters have an extra one in the HD port, so it's an improvement. But the thing is, though, is like I said, you know, what's the point of, you know, as much as they did have a variety of characters they were considering, what only counts is the characters that actually do get in, and you know, there a lot of like about a third of them didn't get in, so. I think it was partly also because, you know, I know they were always there, but I don't see how that makes the original better. I don't see how that makes the original better because they were always there. When, like I said, they did include one character that was always there. So like I said, I would rather have Sega consider one character than none at all. You know, it could have really just gone the route of Sonic Adventure 2 and just didn't include any, you know, but they included one. It is just one, but it is better than none. I would not consider that lazy at all. What's lazy? I would consider the lack of the widescreen and the lack of full-blown, you know, what is it, achievements, or not achievements, but well, yeah, there's that too. The lack of really putting more effort into Honey's labeling stuff, but yeah. But those aren't hidden characters though; those were hacked ones. It's like saying All Stars Racing Transformed. You know, they have multiple characters in there. You know, that they didn't either. For all we know, they could have been DLC or something. We don't even know for sure what those characters were supposed to have. You know, we don't know. Like, at least not right now. Except Alex Kidd. We know what happened with Alex Kidd, but other than that, and maybe the TF2 characters, you know, who knows? But hidden characters could have been just experiments that they just couldn't get working. You know, that's the thing though, is that's like saying that if Sega cared about Sonic 2 being porting over Sonic 2, that they had to include, you know, the Wood Zone, Hidden Palace Zone, you know. The thing about games is that although you get the official product, if you dig in deep, you can see, you know, experiments and stuff that Sega was trying to get working and just couldn't, you know. But, I mean, well, that's the thing, though. Yeah, well, yeah, you do have to make it as nice as possible, but, I mean, like, that, to say the original is better because there are hidden characters that you can't even get, you know, doesn't make sense to me. Like, and like I said, one of the original characters did get included in the port, but again, it is only one, but again, it is better than none. I mean, I'm just, like, making note that for the original port being better just because of the hidden characters, you know, that, like I said, could have just been experiments that Sega was trying to do at the time, but couldn't quite, you know, work out. It's like I said, it's similar to the levels that were included in, you know, Sonic 2. They were experiments that Sega was trying to see, you know, and include, but they just couldn't work. And it just so happened that we saw them. You know, they were exposed. And it's like with Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It was originally supposed to be Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and they ended up getting split. And, you know, yeah, a full character set would have been the icing on the cake that would have made the game even better. But it's definitely not something, I would not consider that alone a reason to say the game is absolutely lazy and the original's better. You know, yeah, a full character set would be great, but I would not consider a full, like, that alone screwing the game royally over. But, well, Hidden Palace was to a degree. Like, they did have the backgrounds and items and stuff. I mean, it was to the point where people are actually did hack Sonic 2 and include those levels and make them playable. So, yeah, pretty much. It's just games don't always have, you know, games don't always have stuff that goes well. There's stuff in the game that doesn't get in. You know, they simply don't get in. I do believe Honey's derpy eye, I believe it has been fixed. I believe it has been fixed. I'm trying to remember. Actually, I'm almost convinced it has been fixed. I do believe they did fix that eye. I do believe. But indeed, Sonic the Fighters HD is out. You know, I got my impressions. I've been going on about this whole thing long enough. This whole debate. Moving on. Speaking of DLC and also recently transformed, actually, think about it. The character voting poll results have come in. The polls are closed. 6 characters have passed the 1,000 signature limit that is required to be considered for possible DLC. Among them, Segatosh Sanshiro, Vector Man, who else? There was Rystar, Vector Man, Rystar. No, it wasn't Miku. Ryu, I believe, was another one. Bayonetta. And there was one more. Ryu, Rystar, Vector Man, Bayonetta. Segata Sanshiro. And there was someone else. No, it wasn't Pac-Man. Damn. There was someone else. Let me check. Let me check real quick. RadioSega.net has an article about this. Okay, so Miku was selected. Never mind then. The 6 characters that were selected were Rystar, Bayonetta, Vector Man, Segata Sanshiro, Hatsune Miku, and Ryu Hazuki. These were the characters that got past that 1,000 signature goal. ToeJam and Earl fell just 7 votes shy of that target. Now, I should note that Miku does not have the right. Sega does not have the rights to Miku. There are licensing things that have to be dealt with for Sega Touch Sanshiro. God only knows if Bayonetta could even be put in there with, you know, the whole Bayonetta 2 stuff that's happened as of late. Rystar is already the freaking flag bearer, and apparently Sumo stated that they can't make Rystar work in Transformed. And Rio, God only knows if they can get in. So, long story short, all the characters that were selected and got past that limit are characters that are really not looking good to get in. They're probably the worst characters that people could have voted for. If they get in, it will be a huge shock. A huge shock. But you never know. You never know. But yeah, pretty much. We will see what becomes of this poll, like what the outcome of this will be. But do realize that only half of them are supposed to be getting in. I believe 3 would be the maximum, so half of that 6 won't even be getting in. But anyway, we're coming down to the near end of this. I should also mention that Sonic Adventure 2 HD, like I said, did drop to 52nd in Xbox Live sales and stuff like that. Either it was on Xbox Live or PSN. No, Sega doesn't even need a car. He just uses the Sega Saturn. That's his car. And then the boat is a controller. And then the flight can be him riding Tails Dolphin on Sonic R. Can you feel the sunshine playing? Can you feel the sunshine? No, even better. Can you feel the Saturn? Did he beat you in the ass? Why did you not get that Sega Saturn, you piece of shit? Anyway, where were we again? Oh yeah, Sonic Adventure 2 HD. Like I said, there was all that. Now there's gonna be a bit of self-promoting here, as we're now at the last bit of the show. I was actually on Radio Sega recently on Forever Sonic's Random Hour. I do need to check to see if that podcast is up, but after the success of the Macy's Day Parade Thanksgiving stream, which was a bigger success than I expected it to be, a day after I was on Forever Sonic's Random Hour and see how it goes. And saw how it goes, and it went fantastic. But yes, there was that. Like I said, I'll see if it's on Radio Sega Media, and you guys can listen in again on it. And also, the Sonic Show has ushered in a new era in their own site's history. New intro made by Sonic Paradox's own piggy bank. Revamped site, new LPers in the staff, more animators. They've expanded, and much more. It's thesonicshow.org. Do remember that the Sonic Show is also very good friends with Sonic Paradox, so it would be a sin if I didn't promote our good friends. And considering the Sonic Show is also a part of the alliance that Sonic Paradox, Sonic Show, and Sonic Rex have, Sonic Show, Sunday Sonic Live. But yep, all good wishes to the Sonic Show and its staff for this brand new makeover, and here's hoping it goes well. Seems like it's been doing good so far. But alas, we've reached the end of the Sonic News Show. The Sonic News Show is done, and it's been another slightly fast one. Slightly fast, meaning it's definitely not 30 minutes, but 43, 45 is not bad at all. I do have something else to mention though, and it's regarding the future of this next few weeks for the Sonic News Show. Do realize that next Sunday, or possibly the Sunday after that, I do believe I may have another guest on. At last, I'm going to have a guest on the show. It's not going to be just me anymore for one show. I do believe the guys over at Respawn Point may be joining me on the Sonic News Show either next Sunday or the Sunday after that, if all goes well, to help promote what will be Sonic Marathon 3 and Knuckles. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Sonic Marathon 3. The guys who have done the yearly Sonic Marathon for the past few years are returning for yet another 7-day Sonic Marathon for Child Play charity. Sonic Marathon 3 and Knuckles, starting on December 28th. Now, I do believe the Sonic Marathon 3 site is supposed to be live tomorrow, if all goes well. because I am well aware that the site has been, things have come up and trying to get the site revamped on their end. So, needless to say, there's also the matter, work and all that they had to put up with and life. But I do believe that if all goes well, the Sonic Marathon site should be updated for year 3 this year, starting tomorrow. So keep an eye out on that. I will be at Sonic Marathon 3. I was there for the last 2 years of the Sonic Marathon. Surprisingly, I derped and completely forgot I was at Sonic Marathon 1. But yes, the Sonic Marathon 3 is happening, and the very guys who run it, Respawn Point, will be joining me hopefully joining me. I don't know who and exactly when, but if all goes well, they will be joining me on either the 9th next week or the 16th the week after that. Now, after that, the 23rd will be the Christmas edition of the Sonic News Show. Now, I did actually have plans on a New Year's edition of the Sonic News Show, but for one thing, I don't know if I'm really going to be up for doing a Sonic News Show on the 30th, with a stream happening on the 31st, and also a bunch of streams I had just been doing in the past couple weeks. So I'm thinking more likely I'm just going to have the 23rd edition of this, like December 23rd, be the New Year, Christmas and New Year's edition, so I can just take a 2-week vacation or so. I don't know for sure, but this will buy me time to do what I need to do off camera, and starting, and not to mention that, like I said, Sonic Marathon will be going for 7 days straight. So by the 30th, they're still going. They're only going to be on day 2 or 3 at that point. So, considering I do want to keep an eye on the marathon and watch it and have a good time, I do think I'm going to hold off on actually doing. I'm actually going to cancel the New Year's edition and just make the Christmas one the New Year's and Christmas edition. However, I'm also going to make it. It is also, unfortunately, going to be, as I said, the final Sonic News Show of the year and the season finale. However, like I said, there will be another season in a couple weeks after that, probably early to mid-January. But as I did mention, with the end of the season, one thing I did mention is that I would love to bring the Sonic Paradox guys on to cap off the season. And that's exactly what I hope my fellow Sonic Paradoxians are up for. For on the December 23rd, just having a good time, having a nice Christmas and New Year's party, and thinking back to the past year, in terms of Sonic and Sega and the LOLs, and just having a grand old Paradoxian party to celebrate Christmas and New Year's in a few weeks. We will see. That's really something that's gonna have to be sorted out behind the scenes, since this is just out of the blue. But yes, that's pretty much what's gonna happen for next few weeks to a month or so of the Sonic News Show. But when the Sonic News Show does return in the next season, which is going to be, if I recall correctly, season 4 of the Sonic News Show, I think it's season 4. Because season 1 was the first few episodes, season 2 was the revamp, and season 3 was after the hiatus. So this will be coming up to be season 4 of the Sonic News Show. And it's hard to believe, guys, but we're rapidly approaching year 3. Since this show, well, not year 3, it was actually year 2. Pretty soon, this show will be 2 years old. And approximately 2 months from now, the Sonic News Show will be turning the age of 2. If you can believe it. That will be a nice little, birthday celebration. But yes, with all that in mind, I've drabbled on long enough about this. A good 5 minutes, actually. Actually 6 minutes now. Needless to say, though, I hope you guys enjoyed watching the Sonic News Show. I will see you hopefully next week with Respawn Point, if it turns out that Respawn Point does join me next week. If not, more likely I will be around on the 16th. I will be around on the 16th, and whether or not there's enough topics, there will be a show on the 23rd. So, topics won't matter on the 23rd, because when you think about it, there's going to be a lot of us just yapping and talking about random stuff and things like that. But, anyway, I will see you guys hopefully next week for the next edition of the Sonic News Show. Tune in next Sunday at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for Sonic Rex and Sonic Chronicles. I really haven't been promoting that more than I should. They've been doing a really good job with... Kevin has been really kicking ass with Sonic Chronicles. And we have... With me, AUK, Kevin, Turbo, and Double Cross have been really just having a grand old time voice acting, and doing the most wonderful of voice acting for the characters, dialogue in the game. That's going to be, like I said, next Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. UK time. Pretty much. That will be before the Sonic News Show. So if you want something to tide you over until the Sonic News Show comes out, take a look at that. You know, that's pretty much what the Sunday Sonic Live is currently comprising of until the Sonic Show returns with their brand new, finds a replacement for the Sonic Show Live's antics that they've had for a good while and stopped doing a couple months ago or so ago. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you hopefully next week for another edition of the Sonic News Show. But for now, this is SSF signing out. I will see you guys soon. Have fun. Have a great week. I'm going back to playing All Stars Racing Transformed. I really need to get those characters unlocked. But for now, I'll see you next week. Hi, YouTube. Hi. And also bye. Take care, everyone. Have a great night.